sometimes everything's a lot more clear in my mind than it is trying to conceptualize it and put it together. But if you'll just try and tag along for this thought, maybe we can get somewhere together. And when I say that I think that maybe it is that God has no preference, and then it is because I've been asked the question that, if God knows the outcome of every single person, and if everything was predestined, then what is the point of the pursuit? What is the point of the question? What is the point of any of it at all? And my combative, I guess, secondary question or layer to that, in a sense of trying to answer it, because I don't know that there's ever one definitive answer. I think that sometimes you provoke understanding through a multitude of questions that expand off of the original, which is that on whether or not we have an ultimate purpose with a distinct path that is unique to our decision, or if everything is predestined and written before we have taken on this vessel, and therefore we are just along for the ride. And then then what's the point of a free will? What is the point of being able to go left or right? And that is where then I would say maybe it is that God had given us a multitude of outcomes. For each person, it is like the singular tree and the roots that branch off from that, or the branches that branch off the top of the tree. And it is that although it is all one and the same by the vessel of the person and the human that is having this experience, maybe that was what God had left for his enjoyment, is that yes, he does understand and know the outcome of every direction that you can take, but it is that you have the free will. And from his vantage point, being able to watch you as you go through life and the excitement of that, the intrigue of his creation is because of the free will that has been put into each and every one of us. Which path will you take? That, for me, seems to be something that I would rather anchor my attention to than feeling like I was just put here going through this and I cannot escape. That if I've gone left, it's because I was supposed to go left. And if I was to go right, it was because I was supposed to go right. And maybe in some sense, there is, if you listen to the internal direction within yourself, that whatever it is, that when you truly listen to that, where you're pulled toward, and you have this belief in yourself and trust in yourself and your direction, then maybe that is what leads you to your ultimate purpose. And that could be the thing that he plants in one of those directions, is that in one of those directions is your actual purpose. But the task of why you're here is to figure that out and to find it. But it is not limited to that being the one all be all direction, because if you choose to go away from that, or the path of least resistance, or you're too scared to ever jump and you let fear cripple you and not allow you to move, then maybe it is because you take those other paths. Maybe you've gone through so many things and you've built up these walls, and and you become resentful and hurt and worried about everything, and then that's its own path. And then what is the result of that? Maybe it is a poor quality of life and something that is not filled with purpose and fulfillment, and I so in my interpretation of the way I would like to try and look at this world, is that there is a multitude of options that we have in front of us, and it is your free will to choose. And the quality of your choices, the quality and direction of the path that you choose, comes down to the relationship that you have with God and the relationship that you have with yourself. And maybe somewhere in there, the best of us emerge. Maybe somewhere in there is when we impact the world in the most beautiful way. And if for nothing else, then all of the mistakes that we made, we're able to correct and help other people, at least to maybe not make those same mistakes themselves, but to find a way out of it, find a redemptive route. We, instead of becoming a lawn ornament to life and there to be observed by the passerby, maybe it is better to take form as some type of utility. Become a tool, if not for yourself, then for others, and work with the hands of God, directing and orchestrating this life. And as I said, then by your choice is the direction in which you fall down. I mean, and there's a bit of this rambling. Obviously, you can tell that I'm still wrestling with these thoughts and ideas myself, but it is that train of thought that I've been on lately through reading the Bible and thinking about things just to myself and hearing people that are farther along in their journey of life and people that have lived, hundreds of years before we ended up being here, that have conceptualized or wrestled with these same ideas and finding what their conclusion was, and if that aligns with that all the way that I think or the way that I have thought about these same things, stringing along maybe some more truth to that or some reason. But from an optimistic standpoint and trying to look at life of not being linear and stuck on a path and just accepting it for what it is, the idea that we get to choose is beautiful, and it puts you more in control of your journey and your story. So maybe you sit down and think about that yourself and tell me what you think. Tell me where your heart falls on that. And until next time, I'll see ya.